Yo, woke up in a panic, new static on the screen. McCain's ghost scheming, haunting the tangerine. Phantom in the oval, whispers in his ear. Push the button, Donnie, make the world disappear. A seance in the West Wing, candles in despair. McCain's spirit chilling in that comb over hair. Got the codes in his hand, sweat dripping on the map. I ran circled in red, the globe about to snap. Orange McCain, bad war, drum steady pound. Ghost in the suit, got the nukes on the ground. WWIII vibes, chaos in the air. Possessed by a specter, and he don't even care. Missiles in the night, the skyline ablaze. Civilians on the run, caught in the craze. McCain's revenge plot, puppet strings tight. Trump's lips moving, but it's John in the fight. Generals at the table, plans on the wall. McCain's voice echoing through the marble hall. Draft cards raining, youth caught in the mix. A haunted administration pulling dirty tricks. Orange McCain, bad war, drum steady pound. Ghost in the suit, got the nukes on the ground. WWIII vibes, chaos in the air. Possessed by a specter, and he don't even care. Yo, woke up in a panic, new static on the screen. McCain's ghost scheming, haunting the tangerine. Phantom in the oval, whispers in his ear. Push the button, Donnie, make the world disappear. A seance in the West Wing, candles in despair. McCain's spirit chilling in that comb over hair. Got the codes in his hand, sweat dripping on the map. I ran circled in red, the globe about to snap. Orange McCain, bad war, drum steady pound. Ghost in the suit, got the nukes on the ground. WWIII vibes, chaos in the air. Possessed by a specter, and he don't even care. Missiles in the night, the skyline ablaze. Civilians on the run, caught in the craze. McCain's revenge plot, puppet strings tight. Trump's lips moving, but it's John in the fight. Generals at the table, plans on the wall. McCain's voice echoing through the marble hall. Draft cards raining, youth caught in the mix. A haunted administration pulling dirty tricks. Orange McCain, bad war, drum steady pound. Ghost in the suit, got the nukes on the ground. WWIII vibes, chaos in the air. Possessed by a specter, and he don't even care.
The sky is burning, but I just want to chill. They're screaming doom, but I'm like Netflix still. The news is wild, the streets are full of heat, but Spaceballs 2 ain't out yet. Can we hit repeat? Oh, the world's on fire, but hold up, please. Before we go extinct, can we release those keys? Epstein's files are locked and riots flood the street. But Spaceballs 2 ain't dropped, so I'm not on my feet. Missiles flying, but I'm here making toast. They say it's the end, but I'm still at my post. Aliens might invade before the credits roll. Mel Brooks, don't leave us hanging, bro. Just take control. Oh, the world's on fire, but hold up, please. Before we go extinct, can we release those keys? Epstein's files are locked and riots flood the street. But Spaceballs 2 ain't dropped, so I'm not on my feet. Missiles flying, but I'm here making toast. They say it's the end, but I'm still at my post. Aliens might invade before the credits roll. Mel Brooks, don't leave us hanging, bro. Just take control. Oh, the world's on fire, but hold up, please. let's do it with a grin. Spaceballs 2's the reason to keep this planet spinning.
This is a Dissident Media production. DissidentMedia.net.
In a world where everything sucks, two men have the balls to laugh at it. This is The System Is Down.
The end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I'm okay.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Ladies and gentlemen, and whoever's left, welcome back to The System Is Down, where we are watching the world end right in front of our eyes. We're going to do that together. I want to thank you all for being here, and all of you, especially those of you, whether you're here or not, for supporting those of you like, William Ogle, Sir Turd, Nathan Gall, Keno Gilda Kate, John Winchauer, Bob C. for Drugs, Robots, Autumn Pangea, Sean Van Beaverhout, Carolina, No Tread, Zereth Anarchy, Everett Dees, Maxwell, Kimberly, Kim Yuppie, JC, Justico, Silas, Denise, Joey, Donald, Matt, Osmataz, Danielle, Sean Luke Picard, Heflum, Swoozles, Vanzot Media, Rick Duran, Javari, Tim Brown, Howie Stone, Nathan Sipes, Mary, William, everybody else. Thank you. Thank you for your hard-earned and much appreciated dollars. If you want to get your name on that list and have it read incorrectly someday, go on over to patreon.com/The System Is Down, where you'll get more weird, more raw, more offensive, more weekly content. Weekly. It has been weekly. It's blurred out there, but it is weekly. The after parties, where sometimes it gets more offensive, sometimes we do so much... we talk about so much dire shit in the main episode, we gotta just cleanse our palate. There might be a little bit of that today. We'll see if we get to it. We'll see if, because the dire shit comes first, obviously. We'll see what we get to. Patreon.com/The System Is Down. That's the place to support and get the stuff. So go do that. And, we'll wait for it to drop. Now, I have joining me my very favorite guest of all time, because he's such a guest, he's not even a guest. He is the one and only Mr. Dave Casey. Right-hand man. Dave, how you doing?
What it is, bro. Not quite as black-pilled as you, but getting pretty darn dark gray. And there's so much to be pissed about right now, but nothing, I saw the card, nothing more than Will Smith's new music. So I'm excited to be here.
Don't get ahead of all the terrible things in the world like Will Smith's music. That's the main thing that I've noticed. It's really ruffling some feathers lately. Perhaps I am a little bit black-pilled, and we'll get into all the reasons why if you couldn't guess. But before we do any of that, Dave, how have you been as of late? We haven't talked in a bit. And last time we had some bitch in here talking about her shit. How are you though? How are you?
Yeah, we've been all business lately. Pretty good, man. Yeah, life outside of the Matrix is, blessed. So, spending more time there these days,
Absolutely. I just noticed that my nails are still painted because my daughter painted them because she paints nails and she got a new tool that she wanted to test out, and I'm a good dad. If I didn't have enough boomer cons calling me a faggot today, let's just go ahead and throw that on the pile. But, I'm used to it. It's fine.
Did you tell her to make sure that the colors coordinate with your studio set
It worked
design?
out. It worked out, yeah. It's not
All
bad.
right,
It just happened to be the only thing that she had, but, it worked out nicely. Joey Two Guns with an early fake super chat says, "What's worse, the new Will Smith or the new MGK?" I don't even care about MGK anymore, but whatever. We'll wait until he's 58 years old or whatever Will Smith is, and we'll see where he's at. But until then, who cares about MGK?
If that guy makes it, we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Now, Will Smith, we will be talking about it at some point, and his rebrand, the second coming of Will Smith, I suppose. But more importantly, speaking of second comings, as was mentioned in the title songs, Spaceballs 2 has been given the green light, and they put out this hilarious trailer where they just list off of 38. It says 38 years ago there was only one Star Wars trilogy, but since then there have been a prequel trilogy, a sequel trilogy, a sequel to the prequel, a prequel to the sequel, countless TV spin-offs, a movie spin-off, in the TV spin-off, which is both a prequel and a sequel, not to mention 2 Dunes, 7 Jurassic Parks, 2 Avatars, plus 3 upcoming Avatars, making 5 Avatars, 36 MCU movies with 2 different Robert Downey Jr.'s, DCU attempt number 1, DCU attempt number 2, animated Lion King, a live-action animated Lion King, a live-action animated Lion King prequel, 8 Harry Potter movies, a TV series remaking the same 8 Harry Potter movies, a whole streaming service of Star Trek, 7 Alien movies, 2 of which were also Predator movies, not to be mistaken for the 6 Predator movies that are not also Alien movies, 1 Prometheus, which is kind of an Alien movie, 4 Beatles movies, and Oppenheimer. But in 38 years, there has only ever been 1 Spaceballs. Yes, 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 there has. And my God, as much as we rail on, like, you know, the reboots and the dumb stuff that Disney does, not that this is Disney, the dumb reboots and remakes that not even just Disney does, that everybody does, throwing back to the nostalgia, this is something that literally was set up 36 years ago, the sequel was, and they said, when we come back, it will be entirely to make money. It will, like, he was already pandering the thing that we're witnessing now, and it's I can only imagine what Mel Brooks's take on the current trend of things is, when that is literally, as he said it all there, like, that's all we have is reboots of everything, and for him to come out and be like, yep, that's what you've gotten, but we started this shit, and we're gonna finally bring it home. What do you think, Dave? Is this good, or is this more nostalgia?
Bro, I am so glad that you put this in the show, and if you want to spend the remainder of our time together talking about this, we can do that. I love this movie so much. I always have. Like, we could nerd out about the movie as much as you want. It's so brilliant. It's so meta before that was even a thing. You know, breaking the fourth wall before that was even a thing. You know, joking about the franchise aspect of things.
Right.
Before that was it's so fucking good, dude. This movie, like Ron Paul. I'll say that about the timing of this, right? Makes me so happy. Ron Paul cured me of my apathy, and Mel Brooks cured me of my anti-Semitism.
Fair.
So I'm so excited about this. I don't care. It doesn't even matter. First of all, I think it's going to go in theaters, not just like Amazon or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But even if it totally flops, like Coming to America 2, or it's beat like Dumb and Dumber 2 or something like that, it's just so great that it's happening 40 years later, bro.
Yeah.
After he made the joke to search
Right.
for more money. It's so fucking great. And he's like he'll be 100 when it comes out.
Oh,
so,
really? Holy shit.
Yeah, I think he's 98 or 99 right
Wow.
now. So yeah, I'm so pumped, dude. I could recite that movie word for word for you. We should just do that.
Go ahead.
You know. Colonel Sanders.
The remainder of this episode will be Dave reciting Spaceballs line for line.
Rick Moranis is coming back.
Thankfully, it's a slow news week. There's not a whole lot else going on, so let's go ahead and do that.
We could totally do it. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. If you haven't seen it, though, like, look, there was only 3 Star Wars movies when this movie came out. I was like a kid when how was that, 87? Okay, so I'm 6 years old. I probably saw it when it came out on cable, like 7, I don't know, something like that. And I wasn't even the hugest Star Wars fan, but I loved the slapstick comedy. I loved that they rammed like different movies and genres and crap together. And again, like talk to the camera, and like every single scene was like they were trying so hard to make you laugh with like every line, dude. Like, so if you guys if you haven't seen Spaceballs, go watch that movie.
Yeah, I failed my son so far. I need to introduce him to that.
Oh, please do it, because he knows all the Star Wars shit and all the lore of everything. I hope it's not like one of those things where it just doesn't resonate much later. But
he'll get a kick out of it. He's gonna
a
real
you
nice
got
dry
to.
sense of humor.
It's so great.
It is. Now, speaking of these reboots and nostalgia bait, I want to get your take on Naked Gun, the reboot. Have you seen this trailer?
Yeah, I did.
With Liam Neeson playing the son of what's-his-face from the original Naked Gun, and it's kind of, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I'm down. I'm down for it. I think it's funny that Liam Neeson is kind of making fun of all of his action movies, but it also kind of pulls you out of it because it's like, that's Liam Neeson, action guy, and he's playing Liam Neeson, slapstick action guy, which is odd. What do you think?
It's all so meta and weird and fun. Like it's like that time Nick Cage played himself. Like this is like, you gotta start thinking of some creative ways to tell stories these days, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I'm for this. I wasn't the hugest
like
fans
it was
of
a
the older
decent
ones,
throwback to the original or whatever, which I'm not super familiar with either, but it didn't seem like it was doing it a disservice or, trying to swap anything for no reason. It was just continuing the story to the best of their ability.
What we do know is that nothing is going to go into the movie theaters that's not some kind of existing IP.
True.
So with that in mind, I'm cool with Liam Neeson as Frank Drebin. I think that's the character.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go see that. They put OJ in the in the trailer. He was in the old ones. It's pretty funny.
That's great. Now, moving on to Will Smith, because Will Smith's doing a reboot of his own. You remember famous Hollywood, the number one actor in Hollywood like 20 years ago, the biggest guy. Everybody knew his name. Everybody knew Will Smith. He was in every single blockbuster of every summer. And he had a rap career before that lived for a bit. Kids might be even less familiar with that, but for those kids who are unfamiliar, just so you know, it wasn't that far off from this.
I like pretty girls. Girls, 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 girls. I love pretty girls. Girls, 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 girls. I like pretty girls. Girls, 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 girls. I love pretty girls. Girls, 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 girls. You don't gotta wait in line tonight. You too fine for the line tonight. 5 + 5, you a dime tonight. It's a full house, better play your cards right.
All right. That's probably enough of that. Dave, were you a big Will Smith rap career fan?
Listen, man, like a big fan? No, but I had Big Willie style. I had fucking Getting Jiggy with It in 2000 was fucking, you put that on right now, dude. I'm getting up. Getting Jiggy with It. That's all right. And there
so
was
you had the album. Does this hold up to it? Is this, to me, this feels in line for whatever.
This is terrible on so many levels. I agree.
And it also feels like it fits in with his old stuff. Not too bad, in my opinion.
Yeah, like it's very much, I guess like some of my grievances with this are the same I have with Eminem. It's like, bro, are you 22 or are you 58 years old? Like that's, and are you married? Are you married, Will Smith?
Right.
Go home to your
it's
wife,
hard to
bro.
say anymore.
I love girls. Come on, dude.
Now, some people are speculating that this is like some sort of shame ritual or something, that it's so bad that he should be ashamed of it. Not only that, but somebody's forcing him to do this because obviously the greatest actor of all time, Will Smith, wouldn't stoop to this level of such 90s cringe. But
listen, I'm not going to write that off.
I don't know. If they were gonna shame him, though, wouldn't they? I don't know. It's bad. It's real bad, but it's just Will Smith doing what he used to do. Like it was real bad the whole time. I don't know.
It's just man, he had a couple bangers, and in the 80s he had a couple bangers. Parents just don't understand. Like he was like a pioneer, I guess. Like towards the beginning, before acting.
I mean, the Wild Wild West song was fine, yeah. And the Men in Black song was fine.
So much This guy's story is just tragic. Like he turned down The Matrix. He turned down Inception.
Yep.
Fucking
I saw that.
Nolan called. He's like, "You want to do this movie?" He's like, "I don't get it." But I'm gonna go do this song. Hold on, girls.
I love pretty girls. Yeah. This song also sounds like he's real. It's like Harry Sisson going on his date with the girl behind the camera every time. It's like, I swear I like girls. I like them. And also, the song's called Pretty Girls, and this is the selection he chose.
Right.
Like, Wednesday Addams with a gigantic bow tie and a lazy eye, some sort of Asian trans person, maybe a black, I don't know, some sort of. She would be the bad guy in a video game. I know that much.
Got that bitch from Wicked over there too.
Yep. Just the whole kit and caboodle of the pretty girls as I've seen them before. And then he gets to the end.
Strawberry, lemon, I like women. There it is, truth about me. Ain't too many women ain't pretty to me. Ain't too many women ain't pretty to me.
And then he keeps repeating, ain't too many women ain't pretty to me. Is this a body positivity thing? Is this him trying to pretend like he's not gay when he secretly is? Is this him trying to get back at Jada Pinkett Smith for all of the bullshit that she's caused? Is this him just being like, well, people don't care about me in movies anymore, so I'm gonna try my own nostalgia bait? Like, there's a lot of ways this could go, and also humiliation ritual. Who knows? But I don't know. Of those like 25 choices, what do you think is most likely, Dave?
Well, there have been the rumors that he's gay for a long time. His first acting role was 6 Degrees of Separation. I think that's what it's called, 6 Degrees, something like that. But he played a gay guy, first role he ever got. And who is his producer? The same guy, he just passed away recently. The same guy who produced Michael Jackson. What's his name?
I don't know.
Oh, man, super famous.
I would know if you said it, but I don't recall offhand.
Anyway, that guy was probably Clive Davis and the shit out of people too, you know, like maybe a little diss for that. So, you know, maybe. And some of his music is pretty, like, you know,
pretty
flamboyant, pretty gay.
And I say that with my nails painted and a septum ring, but
right, yeah. And yeah, just to like, if you're not being blackmailed to go do this, you felt the need to go do this, like not just I'm back and I'm making music, but it's going to be late 80s, 90s era style rap about, you know, me,
girls.
60-year-old Will Smith, right? For all intents and purposes, he's supposed to be married, a family man, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Goal cast, Will Smith, and then yeah, he's talking about all these. Yeah, that's a good point you made about the chicks being total nightmare fuel in the song about.
I like
that
pretty
too.
girls, and I don't see any of them here, but I do like them.
Right. Yeah. These bitches is beat.
I mean, if you have to say, ain't too many girls ain't pretty to me. Did he bring out the 4 that weren't to showcase that at the beginning?
I saw him dancing with a couple of girls that seemed pretty, but those,
Sure.
you know, those batch was pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Like, you know, back in my day, sir.
Yeah.
Every music video had hot chicks in it, real hot chicks. So
That's very homophobic, Dave.
Well, I don't know. It was a different time.
Do you think Will Smith will get attacked for this, for talking exclusively about women? Like,
right.
At this
He's
point.
like, yeah.
What kind of
What do you mean,
girls?
woman? What exactly?
All right.
Maybe.
Speaking of nostalgia, we're gonna get to the nostalgia of the, I don't know, the Afghanistan, the Iraq era, all that nostalgia, the terrorist sympathizers and anti-Semites and all those things. We're gonna talk about that in just a minute. Before we do, if you, I don't know, it's been pissing me off a lot over the last week or so. If you find yourself so mad that you're shitting your pants, you should contact Sheath Underwear at sheathunderwear.com. Guys, prepare to revolutionize your balls with Sheath's patented dual pouch technology. It's like your boys get their own VIP lounge, one compartment for your wand, what did that Disney bitch say? Your happy wand and your jewel berries or something?
Oh, I'm not familiar with that.
What do you think about all that, Dave?
All I know is, listen, whether you're sprinting through life or you're just trying to keep things chill, Sheath's moisture-wicking, breathable fabric keeps you feeling like you're on permanent vacation from the swamp. No more swamp balls.
That's right. So go to sheathunderwear.com, use the promo code SYSTEM at the checkout so they know that we sent you. Say hello to the sweet, sweet breeze of freedom freedom that the Gazans will never experience. Freedom! Don't settle for less. Choose underwear engineered for your boys at sheathunderwear.com and use promo code SYSTEM. All right. Now, Donald Trump has been backpedaling on a couple things this past week. Not only the obvious, but before that, if you guys recall, there were a lot of big things that happened over the last 2 weeks, and they were just like here and then gone. Elon, as we talked about last week, Elon said that it's heavily implied that Donald Trump was a pedophile, and then he vaguely apologized for it right after, and that just completely evaporated, and we've forgotten all about that. Nobody's talked about the Epstein files. Nobody's even talked about Trump's alleged tie to the Epstein files that his good buddy Elon made. We're just not talking about that anymore. And then there were these riots, the No Kings riots. I don't know, people saying that Trump's a king and we need to stop him, and it was mostly because of the immigration stuff. The immigration stuff was a real big thing for a hot minute. Now that seems to be completely gone too. Before we forget that entirely, let's go back to everybody was calling Trump a king, evil bastard for doing what he said he was going to do and deporting some people that were here illegally. And then shortly into that, Trump said, "Our great farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business have been stating that our very aggressive policy on immigration is taking very good long-time workers away from them, with those jobs being almost impossible to replace. In many cases, the criminals allowed into our country by the very stupid Biden open borders policy are applying for those jobs. This is not good. We must protect our farmers, but get the criminals out of the USA. Changes are coming." And then he went on to say this when asked by the press.
What made you change your mind about targeting in California farmers and people in the hotel and leisure business?
Well, we're not targeting. In fact, if you look today, I put out a statement today about farmers. Our farmers are being hurt badly by, they have very good workers. They've worked for them for 20 years. They're not citizens, but they've turned out to be, great. And we're going to have to do something about that. We can't take farmers and take all their people and send them back because they don't have maybe what they're supposed to have, maybe not. And you know what's going to happen and what is happening? They get rid of some of the people because, you go into a farm and you look and people they've been there for 20, 25 years and they've worked great and the owner of the farm loves them and everything else. And then you're supposed to throw them out. And you know what happens? They end up hiring the people, the criminals that have come in, the murderers from prisons and everything else. So we're going to have an order on that pretty soon, I think. We can't do that to our farmers and leisure too, hotels. We're going to have to use a lot of common sense on that.
Common sense now. Now, you might be thinking that I'm angry that Donald Trump changed his stance on this. I don't care all that much. I'll be completely honest with you, because this was not my hill to die on to begin with. I think that there are a lot of people that should not be here and should be removed from here, and Donald Trump ran entirely on that. My main point in bringing this up now is that this was everything just a minute ago. This was the end of the world, everything to both sides just a minute ago. Donald Trump had to get all of them out, and the Democrats had to keep all of them in, and you're a bigot, whatever, if you wanted to get all of them out, yada, yada. Trump backpedaled on that and said, well, there's some good ones. There's some good, we got to get the criminals first. I agree. Go for the criminals first. But Donald Trump's messaging a week ago was, these people are all criminals because they're here illegally. So already he's just like, well, yeah, but the people don't want that, so I'm not going to do that, or I don't know. On this specifically, I don't know what the reason is. Why do you think, Dave, that Donald Trump went from get all of them out of here, they're not sending the best and the brightest, they're evil, they're rapists, they're whatever, and now he's like, yeah, but there's a lot of good ones, there's the Asian ones and the good Mexicans, and we gotta keep the good hard-working workers around, because that's bad. Did you take him at face value that he just changed his mind because enough humble peasant farmers came to him and said, please, Mr. Trump, we need to keep our immigrant workers? He's like, well, you've made some good points that I've never thought of before.
No, dude, I definitely don't think I don't think that's the case. This is the guy who, by the way, just found out about what groceries were, right? So like,
Groceries.
it's very possible that somebody told him 8 years ago what the immigration plan is going to be, right? And he's great. That's what I'll say. No problem. And he just has been hammering it. And then somebody came up to him and was like, yeah, but we need like these farmers and also we also restaurants and hotels and things like that. We need to keep those people because the economy would fall apart. Okay, no big deal. I'll go and pivot. Like he just goes on TV, says it.
I can just say the opposite, nobody will care.
Right. And they do something they've been very good at is doing so much shit that it's really hard for the press and people to keep up and like stay focused on one thing because they're doing so much shit. That's a pretty great example of the Trump effect.
Right. And I mean, that didn't get that much news coverage because immediately after this whole Iran situation came about. But, there's been a lot of yammering on the internet. I posted a thing last night that a bunch of people got mad at me for because I had the balls to say I don't regret voting for Trump. I mean, I did go on a bit of a tirade, so I don't want to I don't want to put words in their stupid mouths. I muted them all. I muted the conversation because I don't really care what their thoughts are. But I just said something to the effect of, after in all of this, I still don't really regret my vote. I was mostly calling out people who were saying, "See, I told you so. See, I told you so. See, I told you so." Because I've seen that endlessly to anybody, including Dave Smith, who we'll get to later. People who are saying, well, Donald Trump's making a bad call here, and now we wish we hadn't voted for him, or we wish that, this is not what we signed up for, calling him out. Dave Smith saying he should be impeached, blah, blah, blah. A bunch of people on the opposite side are like, see, told you so. It's like, you sure did. Yep, you told us so, and I'm not sorry for having a glimmer of hope for a second because he lied really, really well. And then I had a bunch of people attacking me saying, he didn't lie well. We all knew that this would happen. Here's just a flashback because I said something about he pretended to be anti-war, and somebody was like, he never pretended to be anti-war. He fucking pretended to be anti-war just for the sake of history. Here you go.
I want to protect the Middle East, the whole Middle East, and I hate to see this death to everybody. People that have nothing to do with anything are being killed all over the place on both sides. Nobody wants that. We have to protect everybody. And I want to protect
that sounds pretty anti-war to me. If not that, how about this debate response?
To win this war.
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being uselessly, people being killed by the millions. It's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers. Look, we're in for 250 billion or more because they don't ask Europe, which is a much bigger beneficiary.
All right, and if not that, how about this response?
Ukraine or Russia to win this war?
I want everybody to stop dying. They're dying, Russians and Ukrainians. I want them to stop dying.
Now, obviously, that was more directed at the second two of those were more directed at Ukraine and Russia, but just in general, he has been saying, whether you believed it or not, whether you fell for it or not, he has been saying, I want to stop the war. I want to stop all the war. I want the people in the Middle East to stop. I want people in Ukraine to stop. I want the people in Russia to stop. This is not something that we made up, and we're just too stupid that we didn't realize that he was saying, I'm going to war with Iran the entire time. Now, there was the point where I think that the turning point for me where I was like, hold on a second. I still ended up voting for him after this, but the turning point for me where I started to get really suspicious was when there was the assassination attempt, and immediately after they were like, well, obviously this was an attempt against Donald Trump's life from Iran, and nobody was talking about Iran at the time. Like 0 people were talking about Iran back then. I know it's hard to believe now, but yeah, nobody's talking about it, and then they're like, well, there was actually leaked information that Iran was planning an assassination attempt against Donald Trump, which, as we pointed out then, okay, if you had the assassination attempt plans from Iran and you knew that was going down, then at very best you bungled that whole situation as best as you possibly could. He was on high alert for assassination attempts, and you still let a guy climb up on top of a roof and get a clear shot at him. So either you suck or you're lying, and you suck, and either way, you suck. But Yeah, the whole Iran thing, what was just like, they've been trickling it out over the last 6 months or so. Like, everything is like, Qatar, Iran, got like, I don't know. It just seems like the playbook pivots week by week, but Iran's always been underlying as the John McCain endgame that this was always going to be. We haven't even gotten into any of the actual clips, but I don't know, Dave. What are your thoughts on my ramble so far?
Yeah, so I guess I have kind of pivoted back to my regular footing, which is, I think I saw you actually post this, that this is all scripted. We have not changed policy from the Bush Doctrine, the war on terror. We are still on that path to do that mission. And Trump is the guy to lead that charge, I guess, domestically. Not only that part, but like, he's also the guy, this is the change up from the unipolar world into the bipolar world. So like, I think that's the real deal. Like the BRICS stuff that's happening, China's popping, like all the Cold War stuff, that the chatter is all just to like fuel both hemispheres. And Trump's getting shit in line over here, like the Gulf of America and Greenland. And we're working with South America to ship motherfuckers back there, because this is going to be our hemisphere. And he's going to captain that, at least for like the beginning of this new phase, with his AI buddies at Palantir, who are going to set up the biometric control grid and yada, yada. But yeah, man, Iran was always on the thing. I mean, this is the axis of evil speech. I mean, it's the same stuff. Everybody should go back and watch that. January 2002.
It's the
they
Disney
laid out
reboot with a race swap, because now it's an orange guy saying it instead of a white guy.
Right. And instead of weapons of mass destruction, it's, nukes or whatever. But it's all the same stuff. Oh, if we let them get this, then this will happen. That's what he's talking about Iraq. Oh, we're talking about a people that did this. Can you imagine that? They're just like setting the stage for what they're going to do the next 3 or 4 months from then. Oh man, George Bush is just painting pictures of dead bodies in his art room right now, just listening to classical music like a total psychopath that he started.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. I'm very.
It's hard to even lump George Bush. Like, I've seen people making the comparisons to George Bush. I feel like George Bush was more of a puppet than any of them and had no idea what was going on. But I don't know. Same policies, certainly.
The thing that sets Trump apart, I think, is that he's so good. He's like, you ever see that clip of Bill Clinton getting the makeup put on him and he just has like stone cold face, like he's not even fucking human? You ever see that?
I don't think I have.
Everybody should check that out. But that's what Trump is, just stone cold. George Bush was a fucking moron. Like he could barely do the job. He could kind of give a speech, but like you could tell he was an idiot and like you're just a bumbling fool. Like you're not right, strategery. But Trump can fake it. He's just good with like, you got to be able to pume. Like that's what it is. That's what he gives you.
You got to be able to pume.
Yeah, George Bush was not able to pume. He barely even dodged the shoe that was thrown at him, but
right.
Let alone a bullet. But he was a happy pawn in the game. Now, with that post that I had, a lot of people were, again, just dumping on me and saying, you should have known, you should have known, you should have known. You're stupid for not knowing. People? Well, here's the thing. If you check any of the tapes, I did know. Like, if you go back to what we were talking about, the entire time I've been like, I'm hesitantly optimistic. I'm hesitantly optimistic. I think that this could go really bad. I think that I said the entire time from the point shortly after the assassination attempt, during the time of the assassination attempt, I said he is going to win. And even still after I said, I don't trust Trump, I don't trust Elon Musk, I don't even trust RFK Jr. or anybody, I felt like it was still pretty planned out. And they lied so well. And it's not even just the lies. It's not even just like him saying what he's going to do and isn't going to do. It's the hype that they built around it with we're bringing people over from the left. We're bringing over some libertarians. We're going to cater to the people. We want what the people want. We're going to release Ross. We're going to stop the wars. We're going to overturn the the income tax. Donald Trump said he was going to overturn the income tax. Like, you can't put it all on me for buying into that and thinking there might be some hope. Because, as I said, ever since Donald Trump became president, and had started to have some issues, I said, I feel like we're going to use this a lot. We're going to use this phrase a lot. As opposed to what? Like, as opposed to what? As opposed to voting for Chase Oliver, sleeping at night knowing that it got him up to the 0.5% vote, as opposed to not voting. Sure, that's really the best other option. The best alternative is doing absolutely nothing. Okay, that would have gotten me nothing also. It would have ended up with this exact same outcome. Voting for Kamala Harris obviously wasn't going to happen. So as opposed to what? If I was going to go to the voting booth, what was I supposed to do other than vote for the guy who said, I'm going to overturn the federal income tax, and I'm going to be good on 2A and 1A and 12A and all the A's. Like, he lied a lot, and he lied about a lot of things, and we knew that he wasn't going to do everything. We did not think, nor did he give us a reason to think, as of late, that he was going to capitulate to Israel and bomb Iran immediately. There was no reason to believe that. Otherwise, we wouldn't have fucking voted for him. And now, I do regret not voting for nobody, but I'm not going to apologize for having a little bit of hope.
No, fuck that, dude. You made the right call.
Believing that
you made
somebody
the right call.
is... Yes. And I'm not going to apologize for my vote, because it was meaningless to begin with, let alone, like, as opposed to what? Go ahead.
I saw your other post that said, I'm not going to feel guilty for, or maybe it was the same one. I'm not going to feel guilty for wanting to feel hope or feeling hope or whatever.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely true. And as opposed to what still is true. And I didn't see any of the comments. I didn't flip through there, but I have a feeling that it's probably a bunch of "don't blame me, I voted for Chase" people.
There's a lot of those. Or you're stupid for voting. You're stupid for believing a politician.
Okay, that's actually a fair critique, I guess. Like, but
I don't disagree. And also, I didn't believe a politician. I just thought if he's saying 250 things that I like, we would get more than one of them working out.
But we already did, and that's why it's already been a proven success, despite how terrible the new things that Trump is doing. But you kind of need to go back to the beginning. It's like, are we to assume that if Kamala Harris were to take office, that the New World Order would not be going to war in Iran?
Right.
Oh, wait, libertarian, we've gone gold. Chase Oliver and Mike Termott will be taking the throne. Do you think that those guys are going to stop the New World Order from going to war in Iran? Let's get that out of the way. Like, that's just so dumb and childish. Everybody needs to grow the fuck up, because that was going to happen if
it still holds.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you were done. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I mean, I pretty much am. But seriously, we should grow up. Like that. Trump already gave you Ross. That's more than you would have gotten with anybody else. But in addition to that, he's probably going to, this big, beautiful spending bill is fucking terrible because it's going to add trillions and trillions of dollars, just like every previous president has continued to do. Yeah. But there is good shit in there, like no tax on tips. So people that make like no money will have a little bit more money in their pocket. That's cool. Yeah. Any president could have done that in the past. I think there's some other good shit in there. Some good 2A stuff that's going down. But these are all things that wouldn't have happened. I mean, we should just take the gold ticket out because they were fifth place. Okay. Once you get into third place again, we'll start talking about your odds and stuff.
They basically lost to Noda on the national stage.
Yeah. Terrible. Just terrible.
Now, I had a point that I was going to make, and it's escaping me. It'll come back. Whatever. We'll move on to a couple things, because there's a lot to this. Benjamin Netanyahu came out, and he gave the speech on why they needed to, bomb Iran and all that. And notice he sounds like more of a white European than he ever has when he's wanting to give a message to the world. By that I mean us. It's not going to play. Okay, no, not Grok. Hold on.
Moments ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival.
I've never heard him more articulate than he is in this interview. Like, he sounds like he's trying really hard to be like, Operation Rising Lion. The mayonnaise is spicy. I am one of you fellow white folk in America.
This operation will continue.
What's that?
He's doing a good job. Yeah.
For as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They've backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran has taken steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year.
I remember what I was going to say. Shut up, faggot. I was going to say that there is an argument to be made, and I've heard this argument being made, that if not Trump, if Kamala had won, it would actually be beneficial because all of this would be happening under her watch, and then everybody would be rising up against that because the left is anti-war, and the right would be anti-war then too, and we would be anti-war, and there would be a party that, or a group of people, a collective that would be all unified against this war. But if you look back just a couple of years, the left wing were calling the right wing anti-Semites if they said anything at all about Israel, and then as soon as the Gaza stuff happened, then they became the Nazis that they were supposed to be opposing. If the Democrats were the ones starting this war in Israel, first off, I want to say good job, Democrats, for being against this war for the most part, from what I've seen. Like, I don't like agreeing with Tina Turner on things, or whatever her name is. That's her name,
Definitely
right?
not Tina Turner. It's Nina Turner.
Nina Turner, that's the one. The black Tina Turner. I don't like agreeing with her on things because she usually has stupid takes, but because the right wing is the one being the neocons again, the left wing is now becoming anti-war again. It's all this nostalgia throwback that is a little bit heartwarming to see the left making a little bit of sense on one thing. But if the left had been the ones going to war, if their person was going to war, they would be calling us anti-Semites just as much as the right wing is calling us anti-Semites right now for being opposed to a war with Iran. Do you think that's true, Dave? Do you think that this is all are the Democrats principled anti-war folks who are rising up against this because it's the right thing to do, or are they doing it because it's Donald Trump's war, so they're mad again?
I don't know the specifics of that, but I do know that just like the No Kings protests and things like that, and none of these things are organic. They're all spurred on. So that's what I would lead with.
Telling me people don't pull up with pallets of bricks and armor when you're getting to the next level, like in a video game when you're protesting. That's not just a natural thing that happens in life. And do you respawn after you die?
Right.
Stupid. But right after, during that, he was giving that spiel about how they were attacking Iran. They were attacking Iran because Iran definitely has nukes and we need to stop them all of a sudden. And as he said, Iran, quote unquote, has been getting nukes for the last 30 years, and now all of a sudden we gotta take it out. Even though 6 months ago we had, not even 6 months ago, a few months ago, Tulsi Gabbard saying that I have no reason to believe that Iran has nukes or is working on nukes, and now it's like, well, they have nukes. We need to all of a sudden stop them from having nukes. Completely, nobody wants to mention the fact that Israel definitely has nukes, and Israel definitely pretends like they don't have nukes, and life goes on. But Iran is the one that needs to be attacked for supposedly having nukes. And why does the United States need to support it? It's because the United States is at risk of Iran not only obtaining nukes, but attacking the United States with those nukes from Iran. It's so fucking stupid, and it's such everything that immediately after 9/11 I recall people saying that I was a left-winger then because I had the gall to say, I don't think anybody should be killing anybody. And I wasn't even into the libertarian stuff yet. I was just like, this seems wrong. And I don't understand how Christian white people can just so quickly be like, well, our guy said that we have to kill people, so we have to kill people, and also we're pro-life.
Yeah, man. And I gotta say, this is such a disappointment, like a really thorough disappointment to just see. Like, it only takes, I guess this was probably like in that Yuri documentary, it only takes one generation to get another batch of retards. So like, I'm middle-aged, so I've already seen this play out.
Yeah.
This is really no, if you're 20 years old, there's no excuse. You should read up on history. You should not be ignorant of that. But like, there are college age neocons and Zionists who are just like, yes, for Israel. Like, it's just, I'm so triggered by that after the 25 years that just preceded.
Because it's so obvious. It's just the direct reboot. It's the exact same playbook as we've had every time. We got to stop them because they've got nukes. We've got nukes.
Bro,
our friends have nukes. They can't have nukes.
Us.
Yes. And even like leading up to this, I still had a little bit of hope. And Donald Trump was coming out saying we had nothing to do with this. Oh, actually, I have it here. Donald Trump at the beginning said the U.S. had nothing to do with the attack on Iran tonight. If we are attacked in any way, shape, or form by Iran, the full strength and might of the U.S. armed forces will come down on you at levels never seen before. However, we can easily get a deal done between Iran and Israel and end this bloody conflict. So right after Israel bombs the fuck out of Iran, he's like, let's talk about this, guys. I'm still a neutral party here. I don't support anybody, but just know that if any one of our guys is touched, this war's happening. Which, of course, led my conspiracy brain to think, that we're not going to World War III, unless USS Liberty 2 happens, which would be very easy based on the premise that he set up here. If anything, we're not doing this. This isn't our war. But if any hair is harmed on any one of our people's heads by anybody who we're going to say is definitely Iran, same people who tried to assassinate me, obviously, if any one of their hairs are harmed, hellfire will rain down on you. Like, well, there's a glimmer of hope there, assuming that they're definitely, obviously not going to stage an attack from Iran as they already have on Donald Trump.
Right. I love how he's framing himself as the reluctant hero. I didn't want to have to do it. I didn't want to have to rain down. I didn't want to have to rain down hellfire on them, but I did it. Did it real big.
I want the dying to stop unless they hurt one of our precious fine folks, and then the dying will commence.
I want peace, but listen, if you fuck around, I will murder literally every single one of you.
Look, for all of my disdain for everything that Donald Trump is doing right now, the moment he comes out and utters the phrase from the microphone, you fucked around and now you find out, it's going to be hard for me to not be like, fuck yeah, rah America, booting his ass.
Right.
That'll be pretty badass.
I hate war, but that was really cool. Really cool.
Yep. Now, also, the same day that all this was going on, Fox News released this. Fox News alert! Breaking! We found their nuclear site.
Exclusive satellite images revealing the location of a previously unknown Iranian nuclear site. Now, the facility spans nearly 2,500 acres. And this is a big discovery. Jillian Turner has more from the State Department.
Talk about back to their regular footing. Right. I'm back to mine, and Fox News is back to theirs, baby. Breaking.
All is where it was supposed to be. Hopeless and just pissed off conspiracy theorist libertarian-ishness over here. Going straight back to it. Thanks, Fox.
Exclusive, Dana. These satellite images that we have obtained exclusively show the alleged site location and even the layout of the secret, previously unknown nuclear weapons facilities inside Iran. This, of course, raises fresh concerns about the regime.
Fresh concerns as we're bombing them for having nukes. It's like, well, we can't just say there's WMDs and not show any evidence. So tell them we found evidence. That'll do it. We found it. It's over there. Trust us. It's like Kash Patel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah, if it wasn't
Nostalgia
enough.
is so hot right now.
Speaking of, I mean, this is all nostalgia at this point. If you find yourself having a McCain say, "Inject this straight into my veins," you're probably on the wrong side of history. Donald Trump said, "Somebody please explain to Cookie Tucker Carlson that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon." And the McCain family is, of course, highly supportive of that because it's the legacy that they are. We're also going to get into Tucker in just a minute. This is all kind of continuing on this topic, but we do have like Tucker snopping down Ted Cruz, and we have Dave Smith saying to impeach Donald Trump and all that. We're going to get into all that in just a moment, but we have to get our ads in. Otherwise, we're going to be not paid. So, here you go. Have you or a loved one been injured by some fuck nuggets, reckless driving, a tumble at your shitty job, or some other form of dumb shit outside of your control? Well, fear not, because today's episode is sponsored by a lawyer. Lone Star Injury Attorneys is an award-winning personal injury law firm that achieves maximum results for its injured clients. Max the Axe is not just a lawyer, but a hardcore Mises Caucus libertarian and also a big supporter of this show and all of our bullshit. Max is the best personal injury lawyer in Texas, but don't judge him by his occupation or location. Max is an avid defender of liberty and justice in whatever state you got fucked in. If you've been injured and your ass needs saving, go with the pros at Lone Star Injury Attorneys. Visit LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com or Google Max the Axe. Consultations are free and you don't pay a single dime unless you win. Once again, go to LoneStarInjuryAttorneys.com and get your ass covered. And we're back with a fake super chat from White Groiper. Thank you for staying with us, White Groiper. During all this turmoil, he says, super chat. I'm making good money making fell for it again medals. Hey, we're free market capitalists, baby. You go ahead and you sell all those fell for it again medals you want. If you would like to send one to me, P.O. Box 84, Alita, Illinois. Please send me one. I will happily wear my fell for it again medal, even though it was my first time voting for Donald Trump. Fell for it. I'll just cross out the again. But moving on, while all this was happening, Dave Smith's back in the news once again. Our boy Dave Smith is now being lambasted by all the right-wingers. He built his way up to prominence over the last few years through opposing the COVID stuff, through debating Chris Cuomo on the COVID stuff, or whatever, being on Joe Rogan and all that. And now he is, well, he had the situation, the debate between him and Douglas Murray about a month ago, where it was "you've never been" and all that. So that's gotten him a lot of attention. It's nice to see Dave back against the regime, against the powers that be, kind of like we are. So like, there's a line in the sand for you, me, and Dave Smith, where it's like, we will support you, and we can overlook some things, but we do have our lines. And dragging us into the exact war that all the neocons have been pushing for, that we were promised that we weren't getting, that's well past the line. And there's been a lot of things that we've made excuses for, or tried to overlook, where it's like, okay, but he did this good thing and that good thing. We can ignore that for a minute. This is the big red line, and Dave's not having it. Nope.
We all know.
That's not the right button. Here we go. This is Dave's not having it, and here's what he had to say on breaking points.
It was in 2007 that the Pentagon told George W. Bush that we cannot go to war with Iran because we do not have escalation dominance against them, essentially meaning that they can hit all of our bases and embassies in the region, and we are very vulnerable to them. And we've already seen demonstrated since the Israeli attack that the Iranian, the missiles that they sent last year toward Israel, as many of us guessed, that wasn't really their best. They were intentionally making an attack that wouldn't really hurt anybody, that wouldn't really lead to a war, which Iran has done over and over again. But now we've pushed them to the point where they probably don't feel that they have the option not to respond. And Donald Trump telling them to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, what a impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese.
right.
Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one, and not on some like not on some ridiculous Nancy Pelosi. Of course, the Congress will never do it because they're all a bunch of corrupt hacks.
This is the one thing they support. This is like
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that, Donald Trump supporters have been labeled like a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of his supporters, he is going to lose his coalition over this. I know I don't just speak for myself when I say there are a lot of us who simply will not go along with this. So it's just a devastating mistake. By the way, on top of that, he's also going to lose the deportation fight because of this. Because right now he needed all the political capital he could have to turn that, you got a majority support for deportations, but the minority is very mobilized and they're out and they're protesting all around the country. He needed all of his political capital for that move. So here's what we got. The neocons win. More war abroad and, bomb the world and invite the world. No matter who you vote for, you always get John McCain.
Oh, I'm gone.
Bye-bye.
They got me.
All of this blackness.
Yeah.
Well, you turned it back on. This happened in Spaceballs, bro. Remember when they all went to black? And
I do. Yes.
Are we back?
All
We're
right.
back.
So Dave is getting verbally assassinated over this because he dare question the powers that be, much like libertarians and Republicans back in the Afghanistan, Iraq, and all those wars days. Anytime they were opposed to what the cult leader says, as Dave points out, a lot of people say the Trump supporters are cult leaders, and a lot of us are like, well, we supported Trump, and we're not cult followers, cult members or whatever, because we will support Trump when he's right. When the king does the thing, you kiss the ring. We literally made up expressions about it. When the king does the thing, you kiss the ring, and if not, tell him to fuck off. That's what Dave's doing here. The line has been crossed, and he's telling him to fuck off. And all of the Trump cultists who have been calling Dave an anti-Semitic, self-hating Jew for the last 6 months now are coming out of the woodwork again to be like, well, how could you possibly say that our guy should be impeached? He's our guy. He's the guy. How can you impeach the guy for doing the exact opposite of what he got elected to do? How can you impeach him for going completely against that whole anti-war thing that he was pretending to do? How can you impeach him for just being the exact same thing? Like Trump used the expression neocons over and over and over again. He was very much anti-neocon. He was the different thing. So pardon me if we're all a little pissed off that Trump is just doing the neocon thing. Like, it's worse than I think either of us thought it could be at this point, because he's not only not doing the other shit, he's doing this shit. He's doing exactly the same thing as John McCain would do if John McCain's ghost rose from the grave, possessed Donald Trump. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but if it had happened, it would look a lot like what we're experiencing right now. Dave, any thoughts?
That's why Donald Trump is the guy for this. Because he will, with the straightest face, stone cold, tell you whatever you want to hear. In fact, there's a quote that I enjoy. Whatever it takes, that's what I'm saying. Whatever it takes. Dave Chappelle. That's why he's the best at this. And now that he is just in office and never has to campaign again, this is a guy who's a WWE Hall of Famer, and he does not care if you're cheering for him or booing him. He cares about power and the acquisition of more shit. That's what I think he's good at. Yeah. And leaving his brand, it's just the biggest name ever. You know, he jokes about the Art of the Deal being his second favorite book. Like, I think he wants to be on that fucking level. Jesus, Santa, Trump. Right. So he's the perfect guy to like tell you what you want to hear. Oh yeah, peace is great. They're talking all the things about peace. I like it. I like peace. And then He'll just do the opposite and not give a fuck that he lied to you and disappointed you. And he's unaffected. Where like some people might be like, ugh, I don't know if I can push that button. I got a little queasy. I said I'd do it because I wanted that neocon money, but Trump, I think, dude, I think he would love it. I think that's what we've talked about this before. What happens when you like, well, he doesn't do drugs, but like when billionaires get all of their pleasure, you know, like you're gonna need something. I bet you pushing that button for those nukes probably is like a pretty crazy high, dude.
I don't know about you, Dave, but I'm starting to think that there might be a little bit more to Elon's accusations about those Epstein files based on Donald Trump's, positions as of late.
I'm not sure about that one because if there were, why didn't that come out over the past? They were doing everything.
They all have a gun against each other's heads. Like it's a circle jerk with guns pointed at each other. Like we all are at least in agreement that we're going to war and we're not releasing these fucking files, right?
That's a good point. That's actually a really good point. And I've been thinking about maybe this is super tinfoil, but I don't care. I think part of the Russiagate psyop, which was so obvious to so many people, not everybody. There were millions of assholes who were just like, this is an absolute fact. Rachel Maddow telling me the truth. But tens of millions of people were like, this is bullshit. He's not a Russian Manchurian candidate. Yeah. He's not obviously owned by a foreign country. That's ridiculous. The president would never be owned by a foreign country.
No.
That's ridiculous.
Not Russia, at least.
But that was the people who are on Trump's side, at least still, aren't going to buy it if you're like, oh, well, he's owned by a foreign country. No. We already did that. Who are you, Nancy Pelosi? Shut the fuck up.
It's Israelgate. Okay.
Right. They're gonna shut that right down.
You're a left winger, and that's the funny thing is like they immediately, if you disagree with, they're not in a cult. They insist they're not in a cult, but immediately if you disagree with the leader, you are a left winger. You're a left wing bigot. What? Not bigot. I guess that's their words, but it's the same thing inverted, and even like. The people calling out Dave Smith on this, they're posting videos like this to show that he's a grifter because he was anti-Trump, then he was for Trump, and now he's calling for Trump's impeachment. That's what a grifter does. Let's see this evidence that they pulled.
I would be very happy for to see Donald Trump impeached for the illegal, immoral, borderline war of genocide that he's been helping the Saudis conduct in Yemen.
Even grading on a curve. He is a war criminal who deserves to be tried and buried under the prison just with right alongside Barack Obama and George W. Bush and John McCain and all the rest of them. Let me just say this real quick. Donald Trump should be in prison for war crimes for what he did to the people of Yemen. How's that for taking on the right? You're just defending your Democratic president. Good. I actually stand on principle.
Lockdowns and keeping Fauci on the job and Yemen and Israel and Iran, and there's just like government spending, and there's just a lot of them that it's like I just kind of can't forgive him for, but I think I might vote for Trump.
Yeah, Donald Trump, listen, man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one, but he should be impeached and removed for this one.
What a grift. What an impossible grift Dave did there, where he said he should be impeached or he should be arrested for war crimes, and he said he should be buried under the jail for war crimes because I'm anti-war, and then he said he should be whatever. He should be the same as all the other war criminals, and then he said, oh man, this is tough. This is really tough to say, but I got to vote for him. I got to do the thing because it seems there's just enough going on that I feel like I got to do it. I begrudgingly got to do it. Exactly where we were. Exactly where we've been the entire time. Begrudgingly. Angry. Not happy that Donald Trump is the guy, that the best choice that we had. Definitely not happy that he ended up being the shitbag that he seems to be turning out to be. But to call it a grift that he didn't like Trump, and then he was like, okay, fine. And then he's like, actually, yeah, I was right. Or I was wrong and right. I was right before, and I was wrong for a brief, hot minute there where I cast a vote, and now I got to stand on my principles of being anti-war. That's what they're calling a grift now. That's what they're calling betrayal of Donald Trump. They're simultaneously saying that Dave Smith turned his back on Trump because he's a cult member or leftist, or I saw him called a woke comedian by, I don't know, Anti-Semites Anonymous or something like that. Not anti-Semites, stop anti-Semitism or something. Some account called him a woke grifter, something or other, woke comedian. It's like, I can't even imagine being Dave Smith right now. Like, we have similar opinions, but we're clearly not on the same level as he is. But the amount of shit that I've gotten just for that one post that I posted the other day, he's getting shit from libertarians. He's getting shit from the left because he's still a Nazi to them, and he's getting shit from the right because the right sees him as a left winger, and the libertarians still see him as a right winger. Like, sorry that in a time where it seemed like some things were looking on the up, I made a bad call and believing that it was actually any of it was going to happen. But yeah, the accusation of grift is beyond me. It's almost as inverted as the woke right definition is.
But this is all. Anytime anyone is calling Dave Smith some terrible name on Twitter, that is character assassination, and they're doing that because he's over the target. So far over the target. Absolutely crushing. Dude, listen.
He's not an expert. Why do they care?
I bet you Dave wishes that he could go back to pre-October 7th lifestyle where he is just crushing COVID jive turkeys all over the place. That would be so much easier. You'd get so much less hate mail and death threats, and I'm sure all the shit that he's fucking getting now. This has got to be like, I'm glad and grateful that he has stepped up to the challenge, like not shied away from this. It's so important that someone can do it. And it's got to be stressful, dude. I mean, you're talking about that post that you had to mute some people. Like, imagine the onslaught, the daily, hourly, nonstop onslaught of hatred
from all three sides at this point, because he's grifting, trying to get everybody to love him. That's what grifting is. It's going with the flow to try and garner people's support and love. Everybody hates him. Like, everybody who is dishonest hates him at this point. The left hates him. The right hates him. The libertarians hate him, even to some degree.
You know, it's really interesting. I want to say this too. You know who Ben Shapiro never talks shit on? Dave Smith. Everybody wants that debate. I would love to see that happen. But there's a
little bit of shit. He actually did name his name recently.
He finally did it. But there's a reason that took fucking as long as it took for these butt fuckers to get the Iran war going, because that would expose the scheme. In fact, Dave Rubin, purchaser of children, just
always tacked on there.
He went through Patrick, Bet David, and Dave, and they were going to have a debate, and he bailed at the last time, because that's Dave's and our and anybody else who's telling the truth. That's your superpower. You don't have to be an expert. You just have to tell the truth and not be a fucking shill for a murder cult. You can do it on Twitter. You can get away with that. You can be Ted Cruz until you get up on fucking Tucker's show and he exposes you as a complete bullshit artist, right? Like, the veil is being lifted, dude. It's just like, I hope maybe in time, and I'm not sure.
Yeah. And if we had all the time in the world, I would talk about Dinesh D'Souza. I want to talk about this briefly because I thought it was hilarious. He's calling out Dave Smith because he's like, oh, you're schizophrenic on Trump and blah, blah, blah. And Dave called him out. His response here, well, Dave said, you could have done a lot of good for the world if you were schizophrenic on Bush, blah, blah, blah. Dinesh D'Souza says, I got it wrong because we were given false information. Are you saying that is also the case now? While Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11, you can't say Iran has nothing to do with October 7th or a slew of terrorist attacks going back to the 1980s. You can't possibly say that, even though nobody was saying that they had anything to do with it up until just 5 minutes ago. Who was talking about Iran in the situation with October 7th? It was all Israel Gaza.
No, bro. No. It's always been said. In fact, you could probably go back to the Axis of Evil speech of January 2002.
Sure.
Iran is a state sponsor. They sponsor terrorists. Oh, and they embrace the hatred of these, radical groups, and they do it through channels. So Iran goes through Hezbollah, goes through Hamas, trickle down economics of terrorism, but it all comes from the end. Oh, you got to chop the head off the snake at one point. So that's what they're doing, dude.
Yeah.
They're going to go, they're going to be greeted as liberators.
They set it up like 30 years ago, and they keep bringing it up every now and then, but then they let it die off a little bit. But it feels like they brought it up a few times at the beginning of Trump's presidency and right before Trump's presidency. They're like, Iran also. Don't forget about Iran. And then it was like, Israel, Gaza, Israel, Gaza, Israel, Gaza, Israel, Gaza for almost a year. And then now they're like, but we all knew that Iran was the main perpetrators of October 7th. Dinesh D'Souza is like, you got to be stupid to think that they would lie to you and trick you into thinking that Iran had nothing to do with October 7th. I'm curious. I don't know. What has Dinesh D'Souza said about Iran's involvement in October 7th before Israel decided to bomb Iran? Was there much? I don't know. I could be wrong. But I do have a couple cult posts that I wanted to share as well. Laura Loomer said, America first is whatever President Trump says it is. It's not a cult. It's not a cult, but what literally anything that Donald Trump says, America first, which are two words with definitions put together, whatever the definition of that should be, the definition is literally anything that Donald Trump says America first is. It's not about keeping America first. It's not about American taxpayers going to American situations. If Donald Trump says that we bomb Iran because Israel says so and these countries have nothing to do with us, we bomb Iran because Israel said so and Donald Trump said so, and it's definitely not a cult. Like, I've been opposed to the whole cult talk, like the bashing. I've not even supported, but defended MAGA for the last 12 years and been like, no, there's some decent, reasonable people in there. They're not all racist, Nazi, bigot, whatever's. And now it's like you got Laura Loomer being like, it's a cult. It's a cult, you guys. It's a cult. It's a cult. It's a cult. It's a cult. All right. Well, it's a cult, I guess.
I took that tweet screenshot, and then I took your video of Jeremy Kauffman. You are a retard. And I put them together and put it out into the ethos and now it's mine, by the way. That's my property. That's my IP, son.
You stole it from me, and you stole it from Jeremy Kauffman.
Made something brand new. Now that's mine. But yeah, she's absolutely retarded. And I also tweeted the other day, I might have taken this one down because I think I used a word I didn't feel good about later, just in my own soul, talking about her. But she's only,
was it
despite
the
fact,
Dave?
No, it wasn't that K word, bro. Oh no, let me specify. It was not. It was not bigoted. It was extremely chauvinistic, though.
Sure.
But anyway, she is not, despite what you might think, 65 years old. She's 32. Okay,
Yeah.
So she was fucking 8 years old when 9/11 happened. She's one of these retards. It takes one generation of retards to just replace the people that should know what the fuck is up.
Yeah.
And now she's leading the charge. A fucking 8-year-old on 9/11 cheerleading on the next 25-year commitment.
I don't know, Dave. I'm around the same age, and I feel like I've got a better head on my shoulders than Laura Loomer does, who's been aggressively sucking Trump's dick for the last 20 years.
She's also, according to Isaac Cappy, a Mossad agent. So, something to consider.
Well,
You got to be able to pume.
Yep. It's a private company, bro. Now, another cult post. DC Drano, you remember him. He was one of the ones made famous by his release of the Epstein files that we all definitely received. And he was one of the ones called in for that propaganda deployment. He posted this. He posted, friendly reminder that Donald Trump is not George Bush. He is the exact opposite of the neocon warmonger class that dragged us into forever wars, and he called them out many times over the years. That's why we're fucking mad, bro. That's the fucking problem here. If Trump, he goes on to say, if Trump says something needs to be done, then it probably needs to be done. So, Trump said it. I believe it. That settles it. Trump is literally God now. Trump is our God. If Trump says that we go to war, we go to war, and there's no reason to oppose it. He didn't give any validation, any justification for his statements. He just said he's not George Bush. He's not a neocon, and you know that because he said, I'm not a neocon. Dipshit. I'm against the neocons. So this war, where we're going in because they definitely have weapons of mass destruction, and we have to overturn their regime, and it'll definitely go swiftly, and we can call, we can come out and say mission accomplished 2 months from now because it was so easy to overturn, just like Iraq and Afghanistan and everything else. It's not like that. It's different because he's going to overturn it. He's going to topple the regime, and then everything will be fine. He's got a plan. Do you hashtag trust the plan, Dave?
That's another spooky guy, except I think he works for domestic intelligence, but he's definitely a spook. So yeah, of course, that's his job to come out there and gaslight the fuck out of everybody. Oh, don't you remember the times that Trump said he was for peace? Do not forget that. Trump is for peace. Trump is for peace.
Yep.
As he's going into war. Like they'll just keep doing this. Ugh, terrible. Terrible.
Please pay no attention to the bombs behind the curtain.
Right.
Or the whoever behind the curtain pulling the strings. But yeah, we're getting up to our time here. We might have to push Tucker and Lion Ted over to the after party. Yeah, we'll probably do that. I do have something from Van's Warped Tour as well that I need to talk about. Somebody who, a band that I used to be a bit of a fan of, gave a rousing speech at Van's Warped Tour. And Dave, I know you have a long history with Van's Warped Tour that you shove in my face every time I bring up bands that I like. So you'll get a kick out of this one. But any final thoughts on us being terrorist sympathizers and World War III? I also don't want to be too doom and gloom. World War III is inevitable. I know most people are like that. I'm just saying it's not good to go to drag us into a war that could lead to World War III. It's not inevitable. But this is definitely not why I supported Trump. It's not why I voted for Trump. And it's the exact opposite reason, in fact, why I gave Trump even the time of day was because he was the only one willing to even say he wasn't taking a side in any of these wars. He was saying, I want the killing to stop. I want them to stop doing these things. He was anti-war in his message leading up to the election. That's how he got us. So go fuck yourself if you don't like that I voted for him. I don't give a shit. You didn't put up somebody better that I could be happy voting for. And maybe we'll talk about Rechtenwald a little bit in the after party too. Whatever. There's so many things. Dave, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I want to talk about Trump and the wars and all the terrible stuff. But this just in, though. The System is Down guest Chrissy Mayer says 1 hour ago, I feel the same about Will Smith singing I Like Pretty Girls as when Ja Rule used to rap about being a gangsta. Everyone knows you're gay, Will. It's Pride Month. Just come out of the closet. It's honestly the only way to save your lame duck career. And I got to say, that's one funny lady. I agree with her.
Wait in on a high note, Dave. Also, Spaceballs 2 is coming out. And we just need to hold off. Hold off World War III. Hold off the apocalypse until we get Spaceballs out, and then we can call it.
That's really, if you want to put a bow on it, you want to wrap it, come back around, put the dude. We started with Spaceballs. It's brilliant. It's comedic and all that shit, but it's honestly the take on government taking over the universe is hilarious.
Yeah,
it's hilarious. The president in it is a bumbling idiot who just says whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, that's what he said. Go watch that movie. Can't wait for the sequel. The Search for More Money.
Absolutely. And Dave, where can people find you and all the things you got going on, man?
You can find me at Dave vs. Goliath 1 on Twitter and Dissident Media on Twitter and dissidentmedia.com. We're going to get some new shirts. Me and Smotz are going to work on some new designs, some back to
Trump-friendly ones.
We're gonna go back to our original footing of fuck you guys. No more winning. We're back to being fucking depressing losers.
Sure, absolutely. We're back in the camp of no party, really. No real. We're just adrift in the breeze on our
nice
own.
While it lasted. I liked. Listen, it was a breath of fresh air to be like, you know what? This optimism shit.
It was fun to be cool for a second.
Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, the Cool Kids Club was refreshing for a bit, but when the cool kids when the cool kids invite you to the party and then they all sit around and start doing heroin and like stabbing each other in the knee because it's hilarious to them, you bail, you bounce from the party, and unlike Mike Tremont, we're bouncing from the MAGA party. But you can find me at thesystemsdown.tv, at TSIDpod on Twitter, or wherever the System is Downs are sold. Thank you all for being here and hanging out with us during these end times that are definitely coming. Come join us in the after party or check us out next week. Until then, question everything, stay uncomfortable, be bad, have fun, and we'll talk to you then. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Smash all the like and subscribe buttons because that's what we say at the end of videos. Good night, everybody.
This concludes our broadcast day.